You are on the old Glen Savage Ranch. How many people have been here before?
Hi.
Oh, quite a few. Well, the elk are gone, and we've replaced them with elephants. We may in the future also have species like Grevy zebra, African wild dog, cheetah, and cheetah, and also make sure I don't fall off here. We'll also have maybe rhinoceros, so maybe 4 or 5 different species. And these are animals that don't breed well in captivity. One of our missions is to try to figure out why and to try to do a better job so that other zoos around the country can have these animals in their zoos. If we don't do something about the African elephant challenges in captivity from a breeding perspective, in the next 30 to 40 years there won't be any elephants in zoos. So we don't want to lose African elephants from American zoos, and that's one of the reasons we have this conservation center. There's a lot of others, but we don't have time to go into it. This little concrete bunker on the left here as we're going forward is a filtration system. We take all the water, except for the human wastewater, out of the bull building. We're going up to the African elephant bull building. We don't have the cow-calf barn built yet. And we recycle that water. About 90 to 95% of it is then returned back to the building for use. We also take the rainwater off of the roof and use that also. The property here was purchased for about $2.2 million. I think it was about 3.5 years ago. And the building that we are going to go into here in a bit, first we're going to get out and stand on the road, talk a little bit about the elephants, and then we're going to go into the building. The building itself cost $2.8 million, so a lot of money has been invested in the Conservation Center. There will hopefully be 2 or 3 more of these in the country at some point, but so far we're the only one that has African elephants on it. You'll see Jackson up here to the left. He is the most successful breeding African elephant bull in the country. He has 9, doesn't sound like a lot, but he has 9 offspring. So you can see if he's the most successful and there's only 9, that there's not been a lot of breeding in the African elephant species in captivity. The next the next most prolific breeder in the United States is an African bull that is owned by the San Diego Wild Animal Park, and he has 7 offspring. So you see Somerset County's 2 ahead. Not that we're keeping score. What we're going to do now is unload, and then we'll talk some more.
Be careful getting off. Clear the wagons if you can.
Yeah,
Get off and off.
I've done it. Here, you might as well stop for a sec.
Free getting on, but it's $1 to get off.
Once he gets to talking, he would talk.
This fellow up here with the sunglasses. Yeah, that's Hollywood. What we're going to do is we're going to stay behind the wagon here so that the wagon can move off, and then we'll spread out toward the gator over there. But I want everybody behind the wagon while he pulls away so we don't run anybody over. So try to move this way. Thank you. So Jackson's about 30 years old. He was caught in the wild as a youngster, sold to a, a small circus where apparently he was abused, and he was confiscated somewhere in Colorado and then given to our elephant managers boss, whose name is Alan Campbell, and they nurtured him. Willie nurtured him back to health. He had over 200 wounds on his body from being beaten.
Oh, my.
The old way of training elephants years ago was to use force and domination. Now, if you think about that, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because you're trying to get a 10,000-pound animal to do something, and you're maybe 200 pounds, and you're going to force them to do it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And so our elephant manager, Willie Tyson, figured that out early in his career, and he uses a method that you're probably more familiar with when we talk about the horse whisperer. There's probably 4 or 5 famous horse whisperers in the country. We use a combination of Pat Corelli's techniques, he's one of the horse whisperers, and Willie's own techniques. Yeah, if you could step away from the wagon so that we can get that out of here, and he'll go up and turn around and come back. So in other words, all our training is done with positive reinforcement. The elephant's normal diet in captivity is mostly hay with some grain, and then a variety of vegetables. Now you can move back up the hill. They will do just about anything for a carrot, interestingly enough. So small pieces of carrot, not even big carrots, we'll ask them to do something, and if they do it, we throw them a carrot. It's really that simple. There's a lot more to it than that. It's actually a very difficult skill to learn and talent to have. I compare animal trainers to like a violinist. I used to play the violin in 5th grade. Okay? If I practiced for a couple of months, I could probably do Mary Had a Little Lamb for you. Okay? My talent level was low. But I could play the violin. I mean, I could play a few songs that you can remember. Brad's talent level from the standpoint of training animals, elephants in particular, is much higher than mine will ever be. He was born with a certain level of talent. Now that talent is then honed like a violinist. If you're born with the ability to be a concert pianist or violinist, you still have to practice like crazy. You still have to work very hard to be the best at that particular vocation or avocation. The same thing is true with the trainers. So we use this positive reinforcement method, this kind of horse whispering method with our elephants, and our trainers are always learning. Willie Tyson, our elephant manager, has a very high level. He's probably one of the best elephant trainers in this method in the world. He's one of the few, actually, Brad, isn't he? There is still a lot of kind of old-fashioned training that's being used, and we are trying to teach a new way of doing this for elephants. So if you have questions about that, better to ask Brad than myself, since he's the one that does this. Common questions. Jackson is at a pretty good weight, I guess, for his age, about 11,500 pounds. That's relatively normal. He's maybe a little bit smaller than a full-grown African elephant bull. He certainly has a much more docile temperament. Brad's worked with a lot of elephants in his time, and he's seen even females that have a much more aggressive temperament than Jackson. He's known as being a calm and gentle animal. That doesn't mean that if you go in the paddock with him, he won't kill you, because he probably would. We don't go in with these particular animals, although at the zoo in Pittsburgh we have 7 other elephants that are worked with, where the trainer or the keeper goes in with them. They walk them around the zoo. These animals have just been determined not to be able to do that safely with, so we don't do that. Eventually, when we build the cow-calf barn, which will be out in this field somewhere, it will be housed with, or it will house mostly animals that we can go in with and work.